Welcome back to Soft Wash Evolution, everybody. We're talking downstreaming today. You can downstream as a form of soft washing. I'm going to show you a little bit of it today, a couple of the tools you need. There's a little more advanced system, the remote downstreaming. Saves you a ton of time. I'm going to take you over a couple things. We'll be going over my system. You can see this little indicator light behind me here in my remote. I know you probably can't hear that noise, but that's the ball valve cycling. I'm going to show you how that works. And then we're going to go over and wash a little bit of this house. And I just finished up. We're just going to do a small portion of it just so you can see what it looks like. But you can downstream for soft washing. Some people say that's not soft washing, you're using a pressure washer. Yes, but you're using soft wash nozzles and you're injecting SH and soap, so that is soft washing. One of them is a half dozen, the other one's 6. So call it what you want, but you can get it done, and I'm going to show you. So that's my remote downstream injector right there. I'll start on the far left. I color code my lines. That yellow is the soap. It hits the first manual soap valve. That's the only manual valve I have in my truck. It's set to like a 1.5. My soap's pretty thick. You keep following that yellow line. It hits that first mixing block. It's a 3-way, 3-port valve there. And also the red line on the bottom is the SH. That's where the SH and the soap mix together. They then hit the actual T-jet, which is the remote control valve. On the far right, you'll see a blue line coming in. That is water. So, and then the common port is the one in the middle where you see the red and the yellow mixed together coming out. There actually should be a blue piece of tape on that too, because all 3 are mixed together, or any 3 could be coming out of there. You either have soap and SH mixed together, or you have water by itself. So right now you'll see that yellow indicator on the top is pointed in the direction straight on. That means it's water. So it's off right now. If I were to turn it on and I wanted my SH and soap, you'll see that yellow indicator. It turns the other way, the lights on the side of the skid start flashing, and then it's drawing the SH and the soap through the left side of that T-jet. If I turn it off and I want to rinse, it turns the other way and I'm drawing water. So that's what's coming through my chemical injector. That's how I downstream by remote. There's other ones you can get. Generally they'll be, sorry, I gotta jump down from the truck and I'm holding my gimbal here. Generally the other ones you'll see are Flow Pro. There's other brands like that. What they do is set either on your hose reel or right on the end of your pressure washer. You can see my chemical injectors right there. Again, there's always something going through that line. I have it right at the end of the pressure washer. Some guys like to set it right at the hose reel. It doesn't matter. They'll usually have a U-shaped hose and the ball valve on the bottom. So you're getting water when you go through the ball valve. You turn that valve and it makes the water go through the U-shaped hose and it draws the chemical injector that way. Those work too. They tend to corrode a lot because you have fittings in there. You have 2 90-degree fittings, which are stainless steel, but I can tell you right now there's no such thing as stainless steel when you're working with bleach. It eats that stuff too. This one's pretty good. It's all plastic and PVC. Lasts a lot longer, bleach resistant. But these are the lights. I'm sure you've seen them before in my videos. I turn my remote on. I know it's hard to see on a video because they're LED. I have some flashing indicators. I can see them from far away. When I see those lights, I know I've got soap and SH coming out very soon. I turn it off, I've got just water. So that's my indication of what I'm doing. So that's it. Wash that whole house by downstreaming. You can soft wash with it. The only other thing you're going to need is soft wash nozzles. I have mine on the end of the gun here. This is a pressure washing gun. Most people will pick up on that right away. But it has soft wash nozzles on it. You can put bleach through these. Yes, it will make the insides of it corrode because it is a mild alloy. It's not stainless steel. But even if it were stainless steel, you're just going to pay more for it and it's going to corrode a little bit slower. So that's it. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're going to cut over to the wash section. So hopefully the pressure washer's not too loud. You can see my truck over there. Pressure washer's humming away on the back. I've only got one hand, so I'm holding my gimbal in the other hand, but I keep my remote in a little plastic bag with a rubber band around it in my back pocket. My Downstream injector remote. So if I hit the on button, keep your eye on the truck, you'll see the lights start flashing. There they go. The red and white LEDs are going. That's how I know I've got my chemical draw on. So, I've got 200 feet of hose. Once I start spraying, within about 10 seconds you'll start seeing the foam come out because I do my soap and my chem mixed in together. So this is just water. I'm just doing a small section of this house. Finishing up here on the garage. The siding's like a pale yellow color. sure enough, there you go. Start to see that foam. So soap is great. It lets you see where you're spraying. If you have just SH, stuff is almost clear when it's at 1% with the water. You really can't see it. And it has the consistency of water. It just runs. And you see how thick I've got my soap? It almost looks like roof wash soap because it's so thick, but it's not. It's only, it's 1% SH, a little bit of soap. So I'll hit this fascia, knock those cobwebs down. And I push this stuff with the lap of the siding. It's going left to right. That's just the way I'm pushing it. While that's dwelling up top there, and that fascia will need a little more dwell time, but this stuff on the siding, this isn't too bad. If you look over at the truck, big time saver, hit the off button. So now my chemical injector has switched back to water. So again, within another 10 to 15 seconds of squeezing this, that 200-foot line will push out and I'll have nothing but water and I'll be rinsing. So there's no running back to the truck, turning a valve. It's not so bad right here when you're this close, but when you're on the back side of a house like this, you gotta jump over the fence, through 2 gates, drag the hose around the furniture, everything else. It becomes a huge pain. So having this remote chemical injector is great. Everything on my truck is remote. I do it all by myself. The only way to go. So I'm down to just water now, I can tell. So as long as you're not up there with a pressure washer tip hammering away at the siding, you're soft washing. Very mild mix of SH, a little bit of soap. Clean this whole house like this. You don't need a big 8-gallon a minute or 10-gallon a minute pump. You can do it with the little 5.5. I'll show you the back side of this house. I started on the back. Did that whole thing like this. Just work it a section at a time. This last little bit I'm just showing for the video. So you can, if you're getting into this, downstreaming is probably where you're going to want to start. It's efficient, it's cheap, it's easy. Anything dirtier than that though, you're going to need a dedicated soft wash pump. That's why you should have one of those too. Start with a 12 volt, move on up to a gas pump or a 24 volt like I've got. So that's it for this one. I'm going to finish rinsing off the last bit of this garage, touch up a little bit, and I'm out of here. Send them a bill and on to the next one. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.